My name is Ed Hanczaryk, and I'm a teaching professional in Halifax, Nova Scotia. And this is the next in the series of my favorite training aids. The next training aid is called the Hanczaryk Hammer. Learn to nail it with the Hanczaryk Hammer. Some training aids give you a good visual of what you're trying to understand, and that's a good thing. And some training aids give you a feel of what you need to learn. That's a good thing. Other training aids give you a concept or an understanding conceptually. That's a good thing as well. But rarely does a training aid do all three. And the Hanczaryk Hammer absolutely does that. And this is what it looks like. This comes in right and left-handed, and also you can get a graphite shaft, a little bit extra. So you can get the Hanczaryk Hammer for 3 payments of $29.95 on my website. Let me explain how it works. When you use a regular hammer, you don't hammer like this, straight up and down. It bends back, it comes down into the nail, and then pounds it. The last thing that happens is the straightening of the hammer. It doesn't straighten up here and then goes up and down. Straightens at the last minute. Very much like the earlier training aid, the power towel, where I would put the towel flat on the board. Many times you wouldn't hammer like this and go beyond it. You're going to stop your hand and let the hammer straighten out. So the power towel works in this manner. This is my graphite power towel. Hammer. The Hanczaryk Hammer. Here's my address position, and I've got a dowel here. Now, the first thing I want to do is just move this dowel forward just a little bit by getting into an excellent impact position. And what is that? Notice that my left arm and the club line up. Notice, secondly, that I tilted my body a little bit towards the target simultaneously. So I'm not starting in an impact fashion, although some players do that. I'm moving into impact. I've got a little tilt here. My hips are opening a bit. My shoulders are relatively square. And the left arm and the club line up, or you could say the back of my left wrist is flat and the back of my right wrist is bent. That's step one. That's understanding that impact and address are different. The second thing you can do with the Hanczaryk Hammer is to actually hit your dowel. Give it a little love tap. Now remember, you don't hammer straight this way. You're going to bend it back a little bit and then straighten. So you can just give it a little love tap and finish in that impact position. I had a little bit of a hinge back here, but my right wrist bowed back a little bit, and then I popped it. And that's the Hanczaryk Hammer. Now, if you had a real hammer and a real nail, so if this nail were in the dowel straight, level to the ground, pretty easy to nail it, to hammer it. If this nail were on the ground pointed up, notice the nail is pointed up, I could still hit that nail. But if the nail were pointed down to the ground, I can't hit that nail because the earth is in the way. There's no way I can hammer that nail because there's ground in the way. But folks, this is how you try to hit a golf ball in many cases. You try to go underground, hit the nail on the upswing. Can't be done because there's earth there. Now that can be done with a driver because the driver's up on a tee. In a recent article in Golf Magazine, I believe it was, talked about how ideally a 5-degree upswing would create the most distance. And the only way you can do that is there's no earth in the way. But if that's sitting down on the ground, on the earth, you can't hit it. Now many golfers feel that the bottom of the arc should be before you get to the golf ball. That you should go underground and go up. I'll ask a golfer, usually a new golfer, where do you think the bottom of the arc should be? And oftentimes they'll point before the ball, feeling that they need to get under it or lift it. Now I want you to notice that there's a white dot on this wedge. That's the sweet spot of this club. Now, if I stand here and try to get under the ball and lift it, notice that I'm nowhere near the sweet spot. Not even close. If the club is straight up and down in my starting position, I'm still not on the sweet spot. I can only hit that sweet spot with a forward lean of the club, and that's what the Hanczaryk Hammer teaches. Forward lean and a proper impact. Now, my recommendation is to purchase I like the graphite version of the Hanczaryk Hammer, and practice those 3 steps. First simulating impact, then give it a love tap. Then you can get a little bit bigger. I didn't talk about the 3rd step. You can take a little bit bigger swing, but stop it here so you can get the feedback as to what you've just done. And if you get the Hanczaryk Hammer, you will learn to nail it.